IoT forensics is the practice of analyzing IoT devices to investigate crimes. Organizations or law enforcement may hire experts to gather the preserved data when investigating whether hackers use internet connection devices to commit cybercrimes or examine the source of a security breach. In some instances, breaches occur due to malicious intent. In other cases, they may result from human error. For example, if an employee shares sensitive information due to a phishing attack, the employee may have had no intention to steal the data, harm the company, yet the results of sharing that data accidentally can be just catastrophic. These phishing attacks can cause nearly 9 out of 10 data breaches. IoT forensic versus digital forensic. In short, digital forensic is any forensic investigation dealing with digital evidence, while IoT forensic is a more specialized branch of digital forensic focused on devices connected to the internet. Connection to the internet provides unfortunate opportunities for data corruption or misplacement, but it also ensures that most data is readily available for legal review by an expert. IoT forensic experts use various methods to find digital evidence. IoT forensic versus digital forensic. In short, digital forensic is any forensic investigation dealing with digital evidence, while IoT forensic is a more specialized branch of digital forensic focused on devices connected to the internet. Connection to the internet provides unfortunate opportunities for data corruption or misplacement, but it also ensures that most data is readily available for legal review by an expert. IoT forensic experts use various methods to find digital evidence. IoT forensic versus digital forensic. In short, digital forensic is any forensic investigation dealing with digital evidence, while IoT forensic is a more specialized branch of digital forensic focused on devices connected to the internet. Connection to the internet provides unfortunate opportunities for data corruption or misplacement, but it also ensures that most data is readily available for legal review by an expert. IoT forensic experts use various methods to find digital evidence. IoT forensic versus digital forensic. In short, digital forensic is any forensic investigation dealing with digital evidence, while IoT forensic is a more specialized branch of digital forensic focused on devices connected to the internet. Connection to the internet provides unfortunate opportunities for data corruption or misplacement, but it also ensures that most data is readily available for legal review by an expert. IoT forensic experts use various methods to find digital evidence. IoT forensic versus digital forensic. In short, digital forensic is any forensic investigation dealing for existing techniques used in IoT forensic. Forensic investigation can be carried out using the static mode of the traditional method. Investigations are performed after an attack on the device in static mode. It can be recovered using tools such as NKeys and OS forensics, which can extract the evidence from the device's firmware or memory. However, this method may not be suitable for IoT forensics, mostly due to the limited storage capacity of devices, which leads to data being destroyed or overwritten. On the other hand, the dynamic mode is used to retrieve data from live systems. This can recover evidence from device memory, network logs, and running processes, which may produce more relevant evidence for the investigation process. IoT forensic consists of 3 layers, which is the device level, network level, and cloud level. Each of these can provide vital information for investigators. On the device level, forensic investigators collect data directly from the local memory of the physical device for analysis. However, due to the low memory capacity and processing power of the majority of IoT devices, collecting historical information can be challenging. Network-level forensics provide more details such as traffic logs, which can identify patterns, sources, destination, or even confirm the identity of attackers or suspect.
Next, we will continue with data privacy in IoT forensics. Key privacy concerns. IoT devices collect vast amount of data. This raises a key question. Who owns this data? Is it the user who uses the device or the manufacturer who created it? This question is very important because ownership determines who controls access to the data and how it can be used. Secondly, data access and retention. This refers to the legal and ethical considerations around who can access the data and how long it should be stored. These decisions are very important because they impact the user's privacy. Thirdly, legal compliance. Legal compliance is about following regulations like GDPR, which refers to General Data Protection Regulation in Europe, or HIPAA, which refers to the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act in the US, which governs how sensitive data should be handled. These laws set the standards for what companies and investigators can and cannot do with the data. Now, let's talk about some challenges. One major challenge is data minimization. This means collecting only the data necessary for a specific purpose. For example, if we are investigating a security breach, we should only collect data related to the breach, not everything from the device. This helps protect the user's privacy. Secondly, encryption. Encryption is another challenge. While encryption protects data from unauthorized access, it also makes it harder for forensic investigators to access the data when needed. We need to find a balance between protecting privacy and getting the necessary information for an investigation. Lastly, data integrity. Data integrity is about making sure the data we collect during a forensic investigation has not been tampered with. We use techniques like hashing to ensure the data remains unchanged. Now, let's move on to the security vulnerabilities in IoT devices. One of the most common vulnerabilities is weak authentication. Many IoT devices still use default or easily guessable passwords, making them the prime targets for attackers. Another major issue is unencrypted communication. If the data being transmitted by the device is not encrypted, it can be easily intercepted by the attackers. This is like sending mails through mailbox. Anyone along the way can read it. Thirdly, insecure firmware updates. Insecure firmware updates are another critical vulnerability. Firmware is the software that runs on IoT devices, and if the process of updating it isn't secure, attackers can exploit it to gain control of the device. This is why it is very important to ensure that firmware updates are properly secure. Now, let's consider how these vulnerabilities impact forensic investigations. First, there is the risk of data tampering. If an attacker gains access to an IoT device, they could alter or delete data to avoid detection, making it difficult for investigators to get accurate information. Secondly, remote access challenges can be a big problem. Investigators often need to connect to IoT devices from a distance, but if the device has been hacked, it can be hard to do this safely. Finally, the diverse device ecosystem is another challenge. There are so many different types of IoT devices, each with its own rules and systems. This makes it hard to find one security solution that works for all devices. Now, let's talk about how we can reduce these privacy and security risks. For privacy, we should focus on data minimization. This means collecting only the data that is important for our investigation. Doing this helps protect people's privacy. Another important step is using strong encryption practices. Encryption keeps data safe when it is being transmitted or stored. For example, with end-to-end encryption, even if someone intercepts the data, they can't read it without the proper decryption key. For security, the first step is to use strong authentication. This means using multi-factor authentication and making sure every device has a unique, strong password. It is like having several locks on your door, making it much harder for someone to break in. Secondly, firmware integrity checks are also very important. Before installing updates, we should check that the firmware has not been tampered with. It is like making sure a package is sealed before opening it. You want to know it hasn't been tampered with. Lastly, we should regularly update devices with the latest security patches. These updates fix weaknesses that attackers could use.
Okay, now we move to legal consideration. IoT devices are often interconnected across multiple regions and countries. Determining which legal jurisdiction applies can be complicated. Investigator must comply with local, national, and international law when collecting and analyzing data from IoT device. We talk about the data privacy law, General Data Protection Regulation, which is GDPR. In the EU, GDPR governs how personal data should be handled, including data collected from IoT device. Now, we talk about California Consumer Privacy Act. Similar to GDPR, CCPA governs how data must be protected in California, USA. Lastly, data breach notification law. Many regions require organization to notify affected individual and authorities of a data breach. Okay, now we move to the next part, search and seizure. Investigator must obtain the appropriate legal authorization such as warrant to access and search IoT device and related data. We have to maintain a clear and documented chain of custody is essential to ensure that the evidence collected from IoT device is admissible in court. The method used to collect data from IoT device must preserve its integrity to ensure it admissible as evidence. In some cases, experts may need to testify about the method used to collect and analyze IoT data, ensuring data it meets legal standard. Okay, just now, we talk about legal consideration, but now we talk about ethical consideration. We have 2 points, which is privacy and transparency. When collecting data from IoT device, investigator must ensure that they have the proper consent from individual whose data is being accessed, especially in private settings. Only the necessary data should be collected from avoid infringing of individual privacy rights. So, investigators should be transparent about the method and tools they are using to collect and analyze data from IoT device. Stakeholders, including individuals whose data is involved, should be informed about the investigation process and any potential impact of their privacy. Okay, now we move to the third and fourth point, bias and objectivity and responsibility. Investigator must remain objective and avoid any bias that could influence the interpretation of data collected from IT device. Investigator and organization must take responsibility for how data from IT device is collected, stored, and used, ensuring that it aligns with both legal requirement and ethical standard. Ensuring the security of data collected from IT device is a key ethical responsibility, prevention, unauthorized access, and potential misuse. So, other than that, we can show challenges and emerging issue that we can see rapid technology change and the cross-border data flow, and lastly is artificial intelligence and automation. So you can see this is the challenge and emerging issue that we faces. So now we have to move to the next subtopic, which is key pieces in IoT forensic tool development. Firstly, we have to requirement analysis, understanding IoT device types, identify the various types of IoT device. We have to know about the data searches, which is focused on the primary data searches that IoT device provide, such as log file, communication data, and cloud-based data. And lastly is interoperability. Tools must be able to interact with multiple IoT platform communication protocol, such as Wi-Fi, ZigBee, Bluetooth, and so on. Yeah, we move to the next point, which is design and architecture. Ensure the tool has a modular structure to support different IoT device and protocols. This allows the easy addition of new modules for new devices. The second point is scalability. IoT forensic tool must be scalable to handle the vast amount of data generated by IoT environments. We also have a third point, which is cross-platform functionality. The tool should work across various platforms, including the cloud-based system, mobile app, and local IoT environment. The last one is real time. The tool should be capable of capturing and analyzing live data from ongoing process. Now we move to the next part is development. Develop features to acquire data from a wide range of IoT devices, which may include wireless capture, network traffic extraction from cloud services, or direct access to the device internal storage. Second point, implement support for various IoT communication protocol like MQTT, COAP, Bluetooth, ZigBee, and so on. The last one is metadata analysis. Since IoT data can be vast and varied, metadata analysis is crucial to access useful information like timestamp, location data, and user behavior pattern. Okay, now we have to see this is the challenges in IoT forensic tool development. The first one is heterogeneity of IoT device. IoT devices vary widely in terms of hardware, software, communication protocol, making it difficult to create a one-size-fits-all tool. The second point is limited storage and processing power. Just we know, many IoT devices have limited storage capacity and computational resources, making it difficult to extract comprehensive forensic data. And the third point is ephemeral data. Some IoT data extension such as real-time sensor reading which may not be stored on the device for long periods, requiring real-time capture tool. And the last one is encryption and security. Many IoT devices use encrypted communication for secure storage, which can hinder data acquisition unless decryption keys of technique are available. Last but not least, this is the current and emerging tools for IoT forensic. There is 4 tools that I will show to you. The first one is IoT Seeker, a tool developed for scanning and identifying IoT device. The second one is Explico, an open source network forensic tool. The third one is Volatility Framework. While primarily for memory forensic, it can be adapted for use with IoT device that utilize volatile memory. The last one is Magnet Axiom, a widely used digital forensic tool that support data collection from cloud storage services where IoT devices often store data.
So the rest of the IoT has revolutionized how we interact with technologies, embedding connectivity into our daily life. However, this interconnections also presents new challenge, especially in cybersecurity and digital forensic. So today I will explore the critical aspects of incident response and recovery of IoT experience. IoT response and recovery in IoT device, and provide real-world example of IoT forensics in action. Okay, so we look at the incident response for IoT device. The challenges in IoT incident response is device diversity. So IoT devices range from smart home appliances to industrial sensors, each with different operating system and communication protocol. And data volatility, IoT data is often transient, making it difficult to capture and analyze during an accident. So the scalability issues, large network of IoT devices can overwhelm traditional incident response. So the incident response steps is for the first one is preparation, the second one is identification, the third one is containment, and the fourth one is eradication, and the last one is recovery. So we look at the preparation. Establish policies and procedures specific to IoT devices. Ensure regular updates and patches. And the second one is identification. Quickly detect and verify the nature of the incident. Utilize network monitoring tools and anomaly detection system tailored for IoT environments. The third one is containment. Isolate affected devices to prevent the spread of the threat. Segment IoT devices from critical system. The fourth one is eradication. It remove malicious code or compromised software from the device and validate the integrity of the device's firmware and software. And the last one is recovery. Recovery, we restore devices to their operational state, ensuring all vulnerabilities are addressed. Monitor devices post recovery for any signs of persistent threats. So for the second one is recovery for IoT device. Restoring, it has two parts, is restoring functionality and continuous monitoring. So for the first part is restoring functionality. It's firmware updates and reconfiguration and data integrity verification. Firmware updates ensure all devices run the latest firmware to patch security vulnerabilities. The second one is reconfiguration. It reset devices to their secure default setting and reconfigure with enhanced security measures. And the third one is data integrity verification. It verifies that no data has been tampered with or lost during the incident. And the second one is continuous monitoring. Post-recovery monitoring is crucial to detect any legacy traits or unauthorized activities. It uses IoT-specific security solution to monitor network traffic and device behavior. Okay, for the example of IoT forensic, I give 3 examples. And the first one is Mirai botnet attack. It happens during 2016. So for the overview is the Mirai botnet took control of hundreds of thousands of IoT devices, including cameras, routers, to launch a massive DDoS attack. So for the forensic process, it investigated traced the malware to its source by analyzing network traffic and examining compromised device. And the investigator revealed default password and unpatched firmware as key vulnerabilities. The second example is smart home intrusion. I give the scenario lah. A smart home system was hacked and the attacker gained control over devices like log, cameras, and thermostats. Okay, so for the forensic process, digital forensic experts extracted logs from the home's central hub, analyzed network traffic, and identified the attack vector, a compromised smart home app with insecure API